You can go ahead and start.
So, my name's Aaron. I moved to Northeast Ohio in 2009 due to work. Met my wife here. We bought a house. Started a family. So I started looking around for a water softener. Looked at what was actually in the home and looked it up, and it was from a company here in Northeast Ohio which advertises having the best water heater in the world, or best water softener in the world. The installers came, I think about 3 of them, doing the water softener system. After the install, I noticed the water still smelled. They said, well, that's the hot water tank. We replaced too, because this is 20 years old. So I said, how does that work? Do I find one? They said, oh no, if you want to do it, sign right here. We'll call it up. And they said, don't have it in stock, but an installer will be back out in a few days to come by. And the guy comes out to install it. I remember his one guy, he had looking like it was his summertime job from high school. He might have just graduated high school, but he was definitely lower 20s. Very nice guy. A few hours later, he was done. I signed, and we went on about our day. Say a few days later, and when we go down in the basement, I got a finished basement, but the utility room is closed off with the door. So that's where the water heater and softener and furnace is. And we noticed this funny smell in the basement, kind of like a musty burning smell. I don't really know how to explain it, but kids are starting to get sick. I asked her how she was feeling. She said they felt fine in the morning. She said it was weird because after she texted me, she had tripped and fell over nothing into the wall, and then as soon as she went into bed, she said she just passed out. Said she had a really bad headache. But, everybody felt fine in the morning. So I went upstairs to take a shower and noticed there was no hot water. So I went downstairs. The pilot light was out in the hot water tank. I couldn't get it to relight. Tried several times. In the morning, we wake up, try to get the pilot light again, and it lights the same way I was doing it before, but this time it worked. We went to bed Sunday. We woke up Monday morning, and it was cold. So I was wondering who turned the heater off, because we had turned the heater on Friday too, and I asked her if she turned the thermostat off. She said no, so I didn't either, but we don't know how it got turned off, and luckily it did. But on the previous time, since all that's in the utility room, it took that smell we were smelling and just circulated it all throughout the house. But by this time, we chalked it up as new equipment, and it was kind of like a faint smell. It wasn't really overpowering. So Monday when I went to work, it was raining and stuff. The kids did not go outside at all. Everyone was in the house all day. Normally they would go outside a few times. I came home from work a little early at about 3:30. And when I got home, both my boys were asleep. I still didn't think anything was off yet. I got my 5-year-old, and he's slow to wake up too. And he says, he's like, my head hurts really bad. I got a headache. And he acts like he's about to throw up. And he's like, my heart. He goes, my cat's talking. He says, Mimi's talking to me through my heart. Mimi was our cat who died. We still lives in his heart. He goes, listen to how fast she's running. And I put my hand on his chest, and it's just beating, as hard as it can. So anyways, we get him awake, and my wife said, I think we're all starting to get sick again. Sick Friday when we had the heat on, and that smell was circulating, and then they're sick again now. And I was like, it's got to be carbon monoxide. It's that smell. And she goes, well, maybe you're right, but, our carbon monoxide detectors would be going off. I was like, well, maybe they're not working. So I was like, how about I go to Lowe's and buy some? I bought the carbon monoxide detectors, come back home, put one in the basement, one in the bedroom, and they both immediately start going off. And, 911, my wife goes, carbon monoxide detectors are going off. We don't know what to do. They're like, get out of the house. So we get out of the house, and EMS shows up, and they check us out. They walk in, their carbon monoxide detectors immediately start climbing from 100 parts per million to 200 to 300, just as they're in, the middle floor coming into the kitchen. Looking at the flue, looking at the soot that was in the ceiling that I never noticed. And then one of the firemen comes and tells me that, the ambulance is going to take all my kids to the ER for carbon monoxide poisoning, that both my boys had 25% carbon monoxide in their blood. My wife and my daughter both had 15%. They ended up checking me out as well, and I had 15% in my blood, and I hadn't been home that long. EMS said if we would have went to bed that night, we wouldn't have woke up. Come to find out that took me a few hours to figure it out, but the company we had called up to install the water heater installed a natural gas water heater, and I'm on a propane system. President of the company, and I told them that they installed a natural gas water heater in my and I have a propane system. And he goes, and I think the next day through email, if they use licensed contractors. He said the state of Ohio does not require them to use licensed contractors, but he hopes that his installer had a professional appearance. He had no clue what would happen. So luckily we had 2 fans there circulating air. Luckily there wasn't enough oxygen in the room and the pilot light went out. And luckily she bumped into the wall and I assume turned the thermostat off. And hopefully, we can evolve the population and maybe this was some higher power having a really scary experience for me. I love my kids and I love life. It might not be some random person. It might be your friend, it might be your friend's kids, it might be one of your kids or one of your grandkids. Don't put this into a law because of what happened to me. Put this into a law because we want to help evolve the law that we need licensed installers to install gas appliances in our houses because it's the right thing to do.